Okay, so I've already cut out the template pieces that were included in the Instructable. I'm going to include a link to that. Why is there hair here? Anyway, and I've already traced out all the pieces onto foam. Now this is an adhesive-backed foam, which is why I haven't used it before now, because I've had this stuff for years and didn't use it because I got the wrong stuff. So I'm finally using it for this, in the spirit of using whatever I have around. So, alright, that's the 2 pieces of the beak. Wait a second, why did I... Oh well, I guess I made 2 at the same side. I thought I'd flip the pattern over when I was making this, but I guess we're just going to have to improvise. So one of these is going to get stuck down to the foam, and the other one's going to have something put onto that adhesive. This is like super this doesn't make the whole thing weirdly lopsided once I get the vinyl onto the outside. Got a little spy versus spy thing going on here. I literally did not have this planned. Realizing that I made a mistake when I was drawing out the face pieces is why this is happening, but now I'm realizing it's going to be a lot more comfortable to wear if I have this fabric in here, and it will cover up the foam. It would have been helpful if I had also checked that the template itself was symmetrical before I traced and cut out foam from my extremely limited supply of foam right now. That's all the pieces for the mask that are cut out and have the fabric on the backing. So, guess what I'm doing next is sticking it to the vinyl. This is like a weird third hand piece of vinyl that I got from my sister, and it has, I don't know what this paint is on it, so we're not going to use that part if I can avoid it. Start with the thinner pieces of the mask. inch am I adding to this? Let's say half an inch. Yeah, I'm gonna add half an inch all the way around.
Hours later.
Alright, that's cooling. It's not perfect. Let's try to cut down some of this bulk here because I'm going to be sewing through this. I don't want to be sewing through this. You know what? It's going to be tough to sew through anyway. It's a quick and dirty way to make sure that your stitches are the same length. Just drawing out on your finger. Buttonhole thread for this because it's heavy and I don't have any more nylon upholstery thread. This is why we use a thimble. Or you can use an awl to punch through this beforehand. I probably should have done that. That would have been... I have another punches. I should have used my other punches. Maybe next time.
A few moments later.
Alright, now that the front's sewn up, I've lined up the top piece, this eyepiece, so that the edges along here are flush with the body, the face, I guess. And this corner is lined up with that edge there. I'm going to clip that in place. That piece is clipped in place. This one's here. I'm going to shift that around to hold it there. This is going to get sewn afterwards. Honestly, the thimble is the only way I'm not stabbing lots of tiny holes into my finger while I'm doing this.
An hour later.
So for the eyepieces, I cut out a circle using the base of this little guy's pot as a guide because it's the same size as the eyes. This is about 1 3/4 of an inch across, and then I measure it out 1/2 inch, and then in about 1/8 of an inch, so it's got some overlap. And now I need to make it out of foam. size of the mask I'm using, this window screening, it's a heavier material. I've had this for a while, so I'm not really sure what it's called, but it's the kind of shiny, heavy stuff. But I painted it white with fabric paint. I've used this in my Ravager eye patch before, and that one, because it's an eye patch, messes with my depth perception a little bit, but otherwise it's much more comfortable than using a solid lens, because you can actually see through the gaps and it doesn't fog up during the day. You can use the clear I guess folder divider. Use the clear folder divider, what the Instructable says. This is what I had. So I'm just gonna hot glue this to the back. Fall everywhere if I don't secure the eyepiece somehow while I'm sewing it, and I don't think I can clip this in place, so it's going to get a tiny bit of hot glue. There, that's the first eye sewn in, and I realized as I was sewing it that I forgot to do the stitching in the middle here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then do it on this one, and then sew the second eye in. Alright, got the stitching for the inner rim of the eyepiece done, so I'm going to go ahead and make this one to mirror that. I'm not going to be recording that because it's just a lot of stitching.
More moments later.
Alright, that one's glued on to hold it in place. So I'm just going to sew it the way I sewed that one. And I'm definitely not going to film that part. That's both eyes sewn in. This side got a little bit distorted while I was making it. I've gone ahead and I've already sewn up the bottom seam here for the two beak pieces. And that's clipped on along here. I also went through and just added a little bit of glue to bring the vinyl down to cover the very tips here, just to make sure that. Let's see if they're all even focusing. Yeah, it's not focusing. But I'm gonna go off and sew these together now.
months later.
And here's the finished mask. So I went ahead and it was like filmed 2 months after I did the original mask build. I did these little tabs kind of free-handed, stuck some, I think they were scrapbooking brads that I already had, through them to make the little rivets. Used a piece of black silk ribbon for the back. And I'm filming this on my camera because my GoPro video card is acting up. So I'm just trying to get this out, and here's my middle of a heat wave in SoCal Plague Doctor mask, dyeing it into pleather because this thing is hot. And what else? Anything I do with my hands seems more dramatic with this, but I have to look at this at a weird angle to see anything through these. I have not worn this to the store yet because it's hot enough wearing a regular cotton mask in SoCal when it's getting warmer, let alone vinyl over foam. So I think this is just going to be a costume thing. I'm not wearing this out and doing anything else fancy with this right now. I've got other sewing to get back to, so I hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you next time.